of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the
Flag
flag
of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
I said among United Nations. I've been out of the classroom far too long. One moment, please. Ron, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Roll call, please.
Leon Daly. Here. Robert Hayes.
Here.
Richard Jones. Connor T. Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Here. We have a quorum. Thank you so much for all of you who are attending. Richard Jones informed us in the previous meeting that he would be able to attend, and I wish I was there with him
In Texas.
at Fort Worth. Professional bull riders. Adoption of agenda. Mr. Maldonado, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. President, there are action item under section 7, action item A. They are not wanting to present tonight, and that item needs to be deleted from the agenda for tonight.
The 7A update on subject search?
No, 7A, consideration of approval of Grants High School student to graduate early. Section 7, under action items.
Roman numeral 6, Roman numeral 7, 8. I'll get this. I haven't done this for only 6 years. Thank you. So is there a motion to approve as amended? So moved by Millian Daly and seconded by
Second.
Bob Hayes to approve the minutes as amended. Agenda as amended, excuse me. Let me just slow down a bit.
There you go.
Take a breath.
I don't inhale except once during the meetings. Roll call?
Leon Daly.
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz. John Ortiz.
Yes,
Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Yes. Motion carries. Now adoption of minutes.
Mr. President, the superintendent does recommend adoption of the minutes of the May 2nd board meeting.
So move to accept the minutes as presented, Mr. President.
Motion has been made by Bob Hayes and seconded by Emily Daly to approve the minutes as presented. Roll call.
Leon Daly.
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz.
Ron?
yes. I couldn't hear my name, so.
Oh, okay.
gotta
Dr.
be a
Guyer
little
Shambo.
louder if you could.
I will. We will.
Okay.
Motion carries.
Mr. President, we have the New Mexico School Board Association Excellence in Student Achievement Award. And I do not have the detail. Is this on here?
It's not.
I don't have the name.
Well, there's a couple of names.
Oh, is this it? Okay. All right, so I'm happy to, oh, I see, okay.
Yes.
Now I get it.
It's an unusual wording.
Now I get it, okay, thank you very much. I will go back. The very first one is presented to Andrea Wilcox. Andrea is a Mount Taylor Master Teacher. Andrea, are you here? Can you stand up? Come on up front. Mr. President, Andrea Wilcox is a Mount Taylor Master Teacher who builds and maintains a great relationship with her students. Her students are, we haven't rehearsed this, Ms. Wilcox, okay, so sorry.
You're dangerous with me here.
Her student,
What I was expecting to be presented
Oh, okay.
That's why we tabled it.
Her students are excelling in reading, and she is a master teacher who knows how to deal with all of her students equitably. We're proud to present her with this Excellence in Student Achievement Award from the National New Mexico School Board Association.
Thank you. It's remarkable. It's one of the things, you know, you were recommended and nominated, and we certainly recognize. And congratulations to you too. Let's take a look this way, okay?
Hey, Chief.
I'll take it.
Thank you very much. Your staff and everyone else. Awesome.
Thank you, I
Yes.
Congratulations. Mr. President, we have another award to provide, to award, and that's for Tania Manuelito. Sorry if I messed up your name. Cubero and Saboyeta schools. She consistently works collaboratively with educators, supporting them and working together to meet student needs. Her calming nature and pleasant personality complement her skill set to remain tactful, intelligent, and thoughtful. She could come and give us all lessons. In her daily work, she acknowledges the need to fuse social and emotional learning along with CLR. She has developed a large skill set and is willing to teach others. We're very proud to present to you the New Mexico School Board Association Award in Excellence in Student Achievement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, we have another award that we'd like to present. And this one is for Representative Harry Garcia among us. Mr. Garcia, come on up. Representative Garcia, we have to recognize you for the support that you've given to Grand Cebolla County Schools through your work as a state representative and for your continued support to the students of Grand Cebolla County Schools. It's with your help, among other things, that the school now was able to purchase a second activity bus. So for that, we thank you. We're proud to present you with the Excellence in Student Achievement Award from the New Mexico School Board Association. Thank you very much.
Yeah. He has really worked hard for the district. In all the sessions that he's been in the legislature, he has always been paying attention to the district all these years. And we really appreciate your efforts, and we continue to encourage you to do more and more and more. But we thank you very much. Your family has been quite an honor. It's been an honor for you and your family to be a part of the community here, and you yourself.
Thank you.
And Mr. President, we have one last but not least award as well. This one is presented to one of our own in this room, Ms. Reina Sanchez. Ms. Sanchez, here's what was written about her. Ms. Sanchez possesses excellent leadership skills and expertise in data accumulation of student testing, scores, and compilation of student data. Ms. Sanchez provides the board updated information on students, gains and progresses, and provides teachers, students, and all educational staff with valuable information geared towards student successes. She is a valued member of the leadership team and works with teachers, instructional coaches, students, and school community members. Ms. Sanchez, we're very proud to present to you the Excellence in Student Achievement Award from the New Mexico School Board Association. Well deserved.
Is that it?
That's it. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes.
We'll have that.
Mr. President, the next on our recognitions is we have Equity Council student participants from Ms. Tasia Martinez. Ms. Martinez?
Ms. Martinez.
Good evening, school board president, members of the board members. So this evening, we wanted to give recognition to two students who served on our Equity Council, the Superintendent's Equity Council, and that is Ms. Kylette Garcia and Mr. Matthew Baldo. Kylette Garcia is a Grants High School senior, and she will be going to Embry-Riddle University in the fall studying forensic science. And she is the daughter of Annette Alcon. And Kylette, along with all of her extracurricular activities, participates in soccer, track, tennis, and I will say that she was very vocal about making sure that we met the equitable needs of all of our students. She brought some really good insight on her own personal experience and also really advocated for students that didn't have a voice and she didn't feel had a voice at the table, specifically special ed students. And I found that very moving and very powerful. She intends to work for the FBI, so that's what she wants to do. The students aren't here this evening because Grants High School has their mass ceremony, senior mass this evening, so they're all at St. Teresa's this evening participating in that ceremony.
Great.
Matthew Baldo is a Grants High School senior as well, and he is a member of the Acoma tribe. And Matthew is the son of Edwina Baldo, and Matthew was on our Grants High School football team, and he is quite a football player, I must say. And Matthew aspires to pursue a career in construction. He also is an avid cowboy, so he really likes to be out there on his ranch and chase cattle and do all those cowboy things. So he really enjoys it. We had a really healthy conversation about all of the skill sets that he possesses, and really encourage him not to take it for granted because he can change tires and change oil and do all of those things that, I don't think a lot of adults know how to do. So Matthew was very, he participated on our Equity Council in various ways and really advocated, especially for students who were involved in athletic programs. And so Matthew and Kylette just did an astounding job for us this school year on the Equity Council. So I just wanted to give them recognition this evening and present them those awards, but with all the festivities going on this week, we'll have to give that to them at a later time.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's always great for us to acknowledge the youth and who are doing things that are exceptional. And we do appreciate you to see it, to making this presentation and letting us know who they are. Mr. Maldonado.
Mr. President, there are no citizens to address the board tonight. Mr. President, we do have two presentations. One of them, the first one is the update on the superintendent search.
Okay. I'll do that. We have completed the review of the applicants. The board has, and we had narrowed it down to 4. And we had announced those names at the previous board meeting. The next step was to then invite, there were 3 advisory committees from my stakeholder groups. One was the staff, and there were each of the board members nominated a number of people. And the second one was the parent advisory team, and also the third was the community and tribal leaders group. And each of those have been, those who we have nominated to be on those committees were contacted by our consultants, and they had concluded the initial and only training that occurred for the participation of these individuals in the interviews of our 4 finalists. And the next step is tonight, we are going to go into executive session. We're going to discuss the legal aspect of hiring in public education, particularly with these kinds of positions. We must be assured that we are doing the public's business appropriately. And we will be advised on how best to approach this in the future, in the weeks to come. Once we have that legal orientation in the executive session this evening, we'll then have an action item to make a recommendation, as you will see, with respect to negotiations of a contract in the event we do offer a contract to an individual. On the 23rd is when the actual interviews will occur. Those interviews will be on a rotational basis within this building by those stakeholder groups who have identified. And each one of these stakeholder groups will listen to the presentations by the four finalists, including the board. The board will also participate in that. And once we have completed that process of interview, the feedback from the three advisory committees will be forwarded to the board by the consultants. And we will then have another meeting at the conclusion of those interviews, probably about 4 to 5 o'clock. And we will then review all the feedback from the three committees, review our notes, and then evaluate the merits of each of these finalists. It is our expectation that on the 23rd, we will then arrive at a decision to offer a contract. After that, we'll then engage the individual and do some initial discussions. And if things seem to be acceptable at that time, we'll probably tender an offer. The final contracting will occur, probably the completion of the actual contract will occur in the first week in June. The individual does not come on board officially until July 1. That's the update for us at this point.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next presentation is the capital projects update. I'm going to refer you to this long paper that we've given out to you in there. And our facilities director, Mr. Triplehorn, is going to give you an update on the projects.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that boring.
You can stay as long as you want to. You have our permission to go to Mass too. And thank you also for coming and supporting him.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, executive leadership team. So we are, in front of you, you have a spreadsheet that Mr. Maldonado and myself have been working on, along with his team in the business office. We're focusing on this sheet. There are, of course, many more capital projects than these ones that are on this sheet here. But these are the ones that we're of the most importance to focus our priority on right now at this time. So we sat down and we looked at Blue Water. Of course, we know that came in. Our expected match initially was supposed to be around $2.5 million, and it's twice that, $300,000 more than that now. And so we've actually cut this PO for the $5.2 million. We haven't given it to the vendor yet because we're still working on the finalization of contracts. So that money is encumbered now at this point. So when we're looking at this, if you look at the total underneath where it says school buildings, $33,801,000, that's what we're anticipating the next 3 projects to cost us to build. Which leaves us, if you look with the Cubero septic down, those remaining projects are gonna cost about $7.5 million, okay? Probably closer to 7.7 million or maybe even 8, because construction costs just keep going through the roof. So we looked at our available cash that we have, and so if you look there in the center of your page, you have available cash, you have the GEO bond 2019, which we currently have a remaining balance of $7.5 million or $7.6 million basically left in there. And then we met with our bond advisors this morning. We're anticipating going out in November for 15, maybe $20 million. We still need to discuss that with the Board of Finance Committee and then bring it back to you all, of course. This increase in the bond amount will not affect the taxes of any people so that's why we're going with those numbers. It's not gonna
Tax
raise
rate.
the tax rate on any of the public, okay? And then we have our reserves, which we always talk about when we're in front of the legislature. Reserve, $7.5 million. Wind farm, we have 1.2. I'm not gonna go through all those there. You can read those yourself. So we have a total of $43 million in cash right now that we can spend on stuff. Well, if you take the $33 million that we have for the school buildings plus the $7 million, that would completely wipe out our cash reserves as we currently have. So we are looking at how we can best approach these projects and not take away from our cash reserves, and not put ourselves in a situation where we would be maybe in financial hardship at some point, okay? So we're, Mesa View, we're getting ready to go out to bid for that. One of the concerns I have is some of the current projects in this area, mainly our neighbors to the west, they just had a project go out to bid and there was only one bidder on it. So I reached out to some of the general contractors to find out why. And the reason is all the subcontractors are tied up with Amazon and Facebook in Las Lunas right now. So that project's supposed to be winding up at the end of the summer. So hopefully if we go out to bid in June, those subcontractors are gonna be able to maybe look ahead and say, we need some work for the fall. And so maybe we get more responses. If we go out to bid in June and we only get one response, we always have the option to not accept that and go back out to RFP again. And that might be the avenue that we take, or we may just say we got the one and we go from there. So one of the things that we really need to focus on is, these general obligation bond votes that we have. The money that we get from those, we've earmarked that for building new schools, technology, teacherages. We really need to look at how we are spending our other monies, because we're gonna have to use some of our other monies to pay for these schools, some of our cash reserves. For instance, Mesa View, $13 million is what I'm projecting our share to be on that. So we only have $7 million left in our general obligation bond from 2019. That means we're gonna have to come up with $5.5 million from somewhere else, which is gonna be our own cash reserves. And then of course, Mount Taylor, I'm getting ready to request funding for design for that school. It now qualifies under the PSFA state requirements, so when July 1 rolls around, I'll be writing a letter to the PSCOC requesting design funding for that. And so that project, of course, design is a year and a half long. We're probably talking 2 years from now before we actually start construction, maybe even 2.5 years. And so that's why I'm projecting a $15 million price tag. It's a comparable size school to Mesa View as far as square footage and number of students. So that's kind of where I came up with the number with some inflation and the continued trends in the market with construction costs. So that leaves us with the IT demo building. I just met with the designers today and the contractor that's working on that. The demo of the old central office with the abatement, because that building has asbestos floor tiles, it has asbestos ceilings. We're looking at almost probably around $700,000 to tear down those buildings over there. So that brings the cost up more. And then the transportation and maintenance complex, we're getting close to around $4 million to build that project. So everything just keeps going up. So I wanted you guys to be aware of what's going on with construction costs. Hopefully they stabilize at some point, things start to come down, but they're not projected to in the next 6 to 12 months. So they may stabilize, but they're not going to come down. So just for your information, Red Rock Elementary and Gallup $997 a square foot to build. Almost $1,000 a square foot. Blue Water was $790 a square foot to build. So things just keep going up. So
Say that again?
$790 a square foot to build Blue Water.
Okay.
So 15 years ago, when I got into facilities, it was about $130 a square foot to build a school, so. So, that's all I have. Do you have any questions? I'm like, this is just,
Well, the cost for the IT building demo is not just a tear down, you gotta dispose of the material, you can't just throw it in the landfill anymore.
It's a lot of mitigation.
so the asbestos that gets,
That gets done first.
that gets
Then the demo of the building
remediated,
comes thereafter.
and then it all has to be trucked to Moriarty, because that's the only landfill in the state that takes
That
asbestos.
has been contained.
Correct.
Mr.
Emily?
President, I'd just like to thank you. It's only been 8 years since I've been asking for this kind of report, and this is the first year I've gotten it. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Triplehorn.
Now, remember, these are our shares.
There are shares.
So project, what is the actual cost for Mesa View when you look at our share
So
and
Mesa View, I'm projecting that to be at about $55 million to build. So
likewise?
Mount Taylor is probably gonna be closer to $60 million.
By the time it comes around. Blue Water is in the 35 range?
Blue Water came out 19.01 or
Was
something.
that about,
$19 million, 22,000 square feet.
yeah, Harry, you remember that, the figures, so back then was about 19 mil when we were first starting to work on Blue Water. So it's a good thing we started on Blue Water then than now, because the prices, it would have skyrocketed. So we're fortunate to have gotten into Blue Water as we did.
The original maximum allowable construction cost that PSCOC gave us was $8.4 million was what it was originally supposed to cost us in 2020 when we started design.
Harry, would you like to say something? I'll let you do that.
I think the Blue Water School is one of the schools that went up the most prices. Of all the preschools, I think Blue Water went up way over double of what it was supposed to be. You know, and we need to work on that. I know there's a lot of money involved. You know, and I gave money for it, but like you said, you know, time-wise, it was wiping everything out. What cost today $1, what yesterday cost $1, today cost $50.
Yeah.
And you know, as long as I'm a legislator, I'll keep on trying to get more money for our district. Well, for communities, not just the district. Not only the schools are hurting, you know, I know this is a school board meeting, but everybody's in a pinch, you know, county's in a pinch, sheriff department's in a pinch. But we'll keep on trying to get more funding. You know, this year I got appointed to Legislative Finance Committee on appropriation, and I also sit on Mexican Finance Authority, so we might have a little bit more edge on trying to get more funding for this part of the state.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And one of the things that I would like to commend the legislature on this year is they've actually done away with the offset. So normally in the past, when we got money from the legislature, that would affect what our contribution to the project would be. So we'd have to make up that difference when we build something. They did away with that this year, so that no longer affects us. So-
One of the things that we need to do is to recognize that these facilities represent our investment into our district. And that means that we are counting on these facilities to enhance what we have for our children, for our families. And we hope that by expending these funds, by building these facilities, that it'll be a much more attractive community for the district. And that's what the investment is all about. It's investment for the future of our children and of all of our communities. And we hope that we will be successful, that the costs don't continue to rise as they have. Harry Garcia, just a moment, one more comment that you wish to make.
Mr. President and board member, you know, like you said, it's all about the kids. At the end of the day, it's all about the kids in the community. You know, they have a nice football field now, they have a nice, men's softball, they have a nice softball field here, you know, and if we keep on trying to do what we're doing, the route we're going, and work together, we can get a lot of things out for this community. You know, cause, I graduated from this high school in 1968. And then the bleachers then were about 5 feet lower, but they painted that much. Now we got, you know, the school bus, the community buses are important to us. Everything that we're doing as a legislator or board member is all about the kids. So we need to step out of mind, it's all about the you know, everybody in here, we got things. And we thank you, say a few words. And I look forward to working with you, because I know there's a lot more to be done.
Thank you. Now, this was an exception to the rule, but I took that upon my privilege to do so.
Just one more comment.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia, I know that, you've done a lot to improve, the amount that we're getting on this side of the district. And I think if we had done it maybe earlier, then maybe the cost would have been so extravagant, but regarding that, it's just, you know, timing is always not accurate, so it comes and goes. And so we just want to keep you alert that, you know, our district is in dire straits for new buildings and to make it equitable for both sides of the district. We want our kids to come back to our schools. We can't do that if we can't give them facilities that they can be proud of. For long years, the east side has hurt for a lot of, you know, up-to-date buildings. And we're losing kids right and left to Santa Fe Indian School, to NACA, to West Mesa, because we don't have the facilities that attract them to our school. And so we lost a lot of numbers from Laguna Acoma in the past years because they went elsewhere. And so I hope this is the opportunity we're going to take to bring those kids back to our communities rather than have them staying at other schools or going to other schools. And I've seen that happen for the last 8-10 years. And being a graduate of Laguna Acoma, you know, I'm homegrown. I taught there. And I'm serving on the school board, and that's my love. I mean, that's where I'm dedicated to all the kids in this district. And I just hope that, you know, you can help us out with some of the things that we also need on the west side. Thank you.
And our district runs from Blue Water to Cebolleta to San Rafael. So we have a large school district, and we appreciate all the help. We will stay in touch with all those forces that be that can help us in this endeavor. Thank you, Mr. Maldonado. Let's go to action items.
Mr. President, we go to action item B, consideration of approval of the 2023-2024 Memorandum of Understanding for School Resource Officers, SROs, between Cibola County and Grand Cibola County School District. The superintendent does recommend approval of this MOU.
Is there a motion?
So move, Mr. President, to accept this MOU between us and the county.
Is there a second?
Second.
To approve the 2023-2024 Memorandum of Understanding as presented. Roll
Mr.
call.
President,
Yes.
we do have an explanation, so we also have Ms. Kate Fletcher and Sheriff Diaz, if you want to stand up.
Oh,
here, in
yes,
case they want to
by all
answer
means.
questions. Come on. We actually worked very hard. Where's that noise coming from?
He's on Zoom now, so we can't turn it on.
Oh,
Oh, yes, Sam.
he's on Zoom with us.
The last few,
Ron.
Yes, I'm here.
do you want him to do?
You can
No,
mute.
Mute his phone.
Mute your phone.
Yeah.
We'll turn it off. Wait a minute.
Are we there?
Here we are.
Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes, thank you, Mr. Ortiz.
Okay.
The last few months, Mr. President, I have been working closely with Ms. Fletcher and the Sheriff Diaz to craft an MOU that would provide security services for Grants High School as well as Laguna Acoma High School, Los Alamitos Middle School. And it's gone through several iterations. We're now ready to present that to the board here, and we stand for questions if you have any. It's been approved by the Board of Commissioners already.
You see the last page, there's a lot of signatures.
Yes. Do you want to highlight any of this?
I just appreciate working with you. I know you say we've been going back and forth, we've been using our legal, and I know that the sheriff was determined that we were gonna get this done, and we wanted it clean and crisp. And we also wanted to make sure how important it was for all of us to understand how important the SROs can be for the school. I don't know if you want to add anything, but I think we work really well together. We're very happy with that SRO agreement.
Sheriff?
Mr. President, board members. Yes, we did work very hard, and I want to thank Mr. Perez and our member Ortiz to approach the Sheriff's Department and ask for this MOU. Thank God it worked out. And with all the hard work, as I said, with the commissioners, Kate, her staff, our attorneys, and your attorneys as well, made this happen. It's about taking care of our kids. You all know what the trend is these days, and it just, we pray that it doesn't happen in our schools. But with this program, if we can save one life, should something dreadful happen, it's gonna protect our kids and our staff. And I wanna thank all of you, the children, the students, and the hardworking staff and board members for approving this SRO program. And we will work hard to improve it and educate our kids, the staff, school members, so that we all know that we've got that same path to protect our schools and staff and students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is needed, and we are happy to be able to implement once we have this roll call.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments further?
I wanted to ask, I know, I look at all the things that you've set aside to do, but I would also like to hear more suggestions. How can we improve this? If you see something not working at our school, and we should be open to listen to possibilities that they can suggest on how to do something better. And that way, I know you have a lot identified in here, but firsthand knowledge is better than anything you can write down. And so you're there, the SROs are right there in the trenches. So it would be smart for us to seek information and assistance for them. So I hope we can work as a partner in that respect.
Yes, thank you very much. On a daily basis, we will be assessing any type of threats, weaknesses, but to strengthen those weaknesses to protect our schools, and of course, education. Educate, training. So that will be the priority list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're ready for roll call?
Emily Hunt Daly.
Yes.
Yes.
Juan Ortiz.
Yes.
Dr. Garafambo.
Motion carries. Mr. Maldonado.
Mr. President, we also have for an action a Wi-Fi 6 network expansion project for the amount of $184,968.58. The explanation is in your packet there. What this will do is it will expand to all points in all schools, in all buildings, internet coverage where it is either insufficient or non-existent.
How far does it go out toward the east side? Or is it just
at-
the city?
No, it's at Laguna Acoma will extend, at the school will extend out to the football field and the softball field as well as the outer parts of the gym, and extend out to a larger portion of the parking lot. The goal is to expand internet access and Wi-Fi coverage so that phones will work, or that the programs that we have with the emergency internet service to identify if there's an active shooter out in the outer areas, so that that will work as well. We learned during our school budget workshops that the NIMSI and the schools will become more liable at risk for not having that service available if there was an emergency or somewhere that we should have provided that service, and now this will mitigate some of that risk for us.
And Mr. Brown, the reason I asked that, just recently, we had a situation or incident, and our parents were told to go on social media for answers or to look up for information on what was going on with this incident. And unfortunately, a lot of our students' families don't have Wi-Fi or don't have internet, or it's very poor connections. And so anything that would improve that accessibility so that parents can be notified, or they can ask and call, and instead of just saying, go on social media to find out what's going on. And I was a little appalled at that when I saw that. So
I think that the goal of this internet extension here is to provide the services within all of the school district buildings and outer areas. I'm not sure how that will necessarily help the process or the procedure for notifying parents, but it certainly will go a long way for providing access for staff, students, and those who are visiting the campuses to identify when there's an emergency and to take action immediately and have access in order to do that. I think we will dramatically improve the access to these programs where we can notify emergency services, and I think that's a very important goal to have.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Second by Ron Ortiz, to approve the purchase necessary equipment and supplies for Wi-Fi 6 network expansion project in the amount of $184,968.58. Motion, roll call.
Emily Hunt Daly,
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Garashambo.
Yes, motion carries. Next, library.
Mr. President, we have also the consideration of approval for library furniture for Laguna Acoma High School in the amount of $150,376.22. What this will do is it will create, install, and convert the library at Laguna Acoma into a new media center, very similar to what we did at Grants High School a year and a half ago or so. This will convert that library into this media center that will provide and expand services, provide learning experiences, new environments to accommodate digital technologies, as well as providing traditional methods of books, resource materials, and periodicals.
Is there a motion?
Ron?
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Second.
Second, Mr. President.
Motion is made by Ron Ortiz, seconded by Bob Hayes, to approve the library furniture for LA High School in the amount of $150,376.22. Roll call.
Emily Hunt Daly,
Yes.
Robert Hayes,
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Garashambo.
Yes, motion carries.
Mr. President, the next item is the consideration of approval of a resolution pertaining to the submittal and formal ratification of budget adjustment request for the remainder of the school year. Very similar to what we did last year, so that we can continue to submit budget adjustment requests on behalf of the schools in order to collect the money and to get authorization to spend money as adjustments come up. Rather than waiting for each board meeting, the resolution allows the business office and the superintendent and myself to submit the bars to the PED with the approval of the board up through and including June 30th, 2023, so that we can more rapidly conclude that funding request.
Mr. President, is there gonna be a limit as to the amount that, because I think the board has to approve certain amounts. Are these requests gonna exceed those amounts or?
Yeah, so these are not requesting new expenditures. It's requesting from the Public Education Department approval to move funds from one particular object code to another, for example, for use for something else, and using that. So it's not anything new. These are
okay.
already budgeted items that have been approved by the board. We just have to move funds around in order to make sure that we can accurately account for everything that's being done and that we have authorization from the PED to spend the money.
Okay, I'm assuming that this is a standard procedure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we've done this before. Once we do that, I'll sign off on the form and we'll proceed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Emily Daly, seconded by,
I'll second.
seconded by the voice to approve of Ron Ortiz as presented. Roll call.
Melanie Daly,
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Yes, motion carries. Consent agenda.
Mr. President, the superintendent does recommend approval of the consent agenda as presented.
So moved, Mr. President.
Is there a second? Second, motion made by Bob Hayes, seconded by Emily Daly to approve the consent agenda. Roll call.
Melanie Daly,
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Yes, motion carries.
Just one little question. Are you gonna be bringing these consent agendas to the board meetings for our approval still?
No,
No. Okay.
no. Between now and the end of June, we'll just submit them because we're already getting your approval now to do that without having to wait.
Fiscal year.
Yeah.
Correct, yes, because it's such a time crunch between now and the third.
There's a lot to get done.
Done, yes. And then in July, we'll start the process all over.
Correct.
Yes. There you go. Thank you.
I guess the reason I'm really leery is because of the thing that we had to go through at LFC meeting where they told us that we were not spending money, we were supposed to, and so forth. I just want to make sure that they're not gonna pull that out and say we're doing something wrong.
And we're not overstepping anything that you haven't already approved in the budget. So that's the important part of it. All we're doing is making adjustments to the budget based on object code or program code to get the approval from the PED. So it's nothing that you haven't already approved.
So they're not gonna dean us somewhere down
No.
the road, okay?
We're going to give just a short-term blanket approval between now and the 30th of June is all we're doing. Because there's a lot of moving parts between now and June 30th.
Stuck our little.
All right, let's go into executive session. Limited personnel matters for discussion of best employment practices in order to conduct and complete interviews of finalists for superintendent review of the personnel information obtained from said applications and interviews and discussions of prospective employment contract terms for negotiations with new superintendent and review of timing and substance of implementing a performance evaluation process for a new superintendent upon hire pursuant to section 1015 15-1H2 of the Open Meetings Act. Discussion with the school district attorney on school district's compliance with best employment practices to continue and complete hiring process for new superintendent. Planning for negotiations of the employment contract for the new superintendent by subcommittee of the board. Use of transition period between superintendent and establishing options for evaluating the new superintendent's pending or threatened litigation pursuant to section 1015-1H7 of the Open Meetings Act and under the attorney-client privilege and in anticipation of and to prevent litigation. No action will be taken and only the items listed will be discussed. Is there a motion?
Should we do that in one breath, Mr. President?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by who?
Emily.
Emily Daly, and seconded by Bob Hayes. To go into executive session, roll call?
Melanie Daly.
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Yes, motion carries. The board is now in executive session. For those of you who are still here, the only action item left is what is there and appreciation of that stuff. So you may leave if you so desire. But I can insist that you stay, so you shall stay. I'm just kidding.
I have to go and create an executive session.
Thank you.
We'll do that now.
Okay.
Being here.
So stay in here.
Mr. Ortiz?
Any of those donuts or cookies left over from this
Oh,
morning?
no, they, as soon as you
Gonna have
left,
to go back in
the
there.
vultures came. I'll be next door when you're ready for me.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Oh, no. He's,
Oh, we're all canceled out.
oh, yeah. Mr. Ortiz, yes, I'm here. Hold on, sir. Okay. Lorraine will send you a new link because this link is public. Okay. One for your executive session.
Okay, sounds
Okay,
good.
sir.
Let me see if I can do it.
All right.
I'll give it my best.
You can go ahead and click on the end and then leave
Okay,
for now.
okay.
And
sounds
later
good.
on, we can, after the executive session, you can come back to this same link.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
I even dressed in red.
Be there.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sanchez.
After school.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
This is the public link. So Lorraine will be sending you a new link that will be for the executive session.
Okay, I'll wait for it.
Sorry for that.
No problem. I'll catch you on the other side.
All right, sir. Thank you. Welcome back, sir.
Are you there?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
There you are. Hey, I learned how to do all this stuff, just moving buttons.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
It's
let's
not that, once you
just
get it,
wait
it's not
for
that hard.
Lorraine to join.
Yeah.
You'll get used to it, sir.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then it'll ask you to unmute, you know? And it basically leads you to the right places. Yeah.
Yes, sir, it does.
How's old Rodney King doing? Is he still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. That's all you have to say.
Yes, sir. Let's just wait for Lorraine, sir. We're actually public.
Oh, okay. I thought you were alone.
For 3:30, they're always there till 4 or 5 with
Ron, can
me.
you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Belton.
Ron,
Yo, I'm here.
Okay, there
Okay.
it is. All right, let's go.
there's a motion to reconvene the open meeting session. Is there a motion? Again,
Yes, I'm in motion.
Bob Hayes made a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second to reconvene the open session. Roll call.
Emily Hunt Daly,
Yes.
Robert Hayes,
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Yes. We have returned from executive session and our meeting was, no action was taken and only the items listed in the executive session were discussed at that time. Action items.
Mr. President?
The motion to delegate authority to 2 board members to negotiate with Selectee for superintendent on employment contract to be considered and approved or rejected by the Board of Education at subsequent board meeting. Is there a motion to that effect?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to have Dr. Guy Archambault, and primarily, the second person will be Emily Daly, and if not, then secondarily will be Ron Ortiz as the Board of Education negotiation team for the upcoming contract for the new superintendent.
Is there a motion to that effect?
That was my motion, Mr. President.
Is there a second to that effect?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ron Ortiz. You got that, Emily? And if not,
You're
Ron.
not Ron.
Roll call.
Emily Hunt Daly,
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Yes. Motion carries. See the announcements, future agenda items. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second.
Seconded by, motion made by Bob Hayes, seconded by Emily Hunt Daly to adjourn the meeting. Is roll call?
Emily Hunt Daly,
Yes.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
Ron Ortiz,
Yes.
Dr. Guyer Shambo.
Yes, meeting's adjourned at 7:26.
Ron, you better get that cough check.
Yeah, you need to go there and get that swab, you know what that is.
I hear you.
So you take care of yourself.
Okay, thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
I was gonna come to you.
Remember our,
Appreciate it.
remember our age, we're all susceptible.
Later, Dr. Martin.
Get your